Test, test. Test, test. Illegal psychological torture. Just to emphasize, so fucking illegal for every single moment that this has been going on. So consciously fucking illegal. So what did I do just now? As I was just explaining, I switched to cellular on this phone, and that's, speaking of, right? This system that I've been designing, cellular has always been a consideration of mine. Now, this is where, again, there's a nuance. We talk about, there's security considerations, right? We don't, how do I put it best? Like, I'll be honest, y'all, the way that I think about it is we need to make sure that never again. That's what I feel personally. Never again. And I don't even just mean, in this case, I mean about this, but yes, I also mean about 9/11. And what happened, organization in the shadows, and I'm not even saying the family right now, even if there's some really dark shit when you start looking at the background and connections there. I want to let real professionals do their jobs. And what I'm saying is never again that some fucking box cutters and some organization with, folks coordination allows shit like that to happen. So that's what I'm saying in the nuance, of I'm not a quote shill, right? But okay, there's considerations, any technologies we're engineering or developing, we want to make sure that we can be safe. That's the consolation, right? We all live in a world where we want to be safe. We want to have our privacy. We want to make sure, damn sure, that we can protect, really, not just our national security, y'all, but one another. We don't want psychological torture in our society. The last thing that we ever want to see is technology being lorded and abused over human beings covertly to subject them to relentless, just straight up illegal psychopathic abuse, which is what's really happened in real life, unfortunately, to me for years now. And I can tell you right now, it's the most difficult thing in the world. The technology is like my one or two, right? Psychology, technology, almost like my, I'm not Superman, y'all, but like my personal superpower if I have one, right? I'm not trying to sound arrogant, right? But it's just the one thing I've always, my whole life. Wow, that really does come naturally, really is just natural. And some kind of intuition, it's not mental illness. It's not some kind of brain connection to computers. That's what's complicated. I'm on the autism spectrum. And so a lot of people just don't really understand how that works. I am really good with, understanding systems and bigger picture when it comes to how we wire all these things together, And so that's kind of what I mean, when I'm walking. And I'm not happy to be walking like 40 miles in one night. And again, that's the thing. I'm not on any substance. I'm stone cold sober, right? I get shot and drive by with an airsoft gun. I'm literally so beyond stressed out at that point. I know that I've been fucking tortured. I also know that there's actual real federal investigation. And that's where it's like, wow, these fucking people, they're never going to stop. They're fucking psychopaths. Fucking psychopaths. They actually know that there's federal investigation, and they're going to keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Like, they don't even realize they're throwing the book at themselves, but they're actually going to, try to fucking kill me. And in that case, they're like, okay, well, let's not use a real gun this time, but we want him, call the cops. The cops are on our side. Like, I never wanted to be saying that about the cops, y'all. Like, to be honest with you, though, the whole situation was quite bizarre because, the first thing that's involved is, there's a car accident at this intersection, and I drive by it initially, right? But, these people, they just need an officer, okay? And I'm in defense of, we need reasonable response times, y'all. Time is always relevant. And so, I appreciate, actually, y'all, it's a state trooper that shows up at the end of the day to deal with this. And I'll be honest with you, in that context, it's not normally a state trooper that goes and deals with that accident. right? But I saw multiple APD cars drive by, y'all, and the men in this accident, they're actually explaining, they're like, oh, I'm so mad at APD sucks, like, they don't even want to do their job, and then literally one drives by, and they're like, oh, they don't even want to do their jobs. I'm just like, to be honest with you, y'all, it's just the strangest thing in the world to me, because do they think I'm going to sit there and film them, like, hey, y'all, APD, like, no, I'm not that kind of guy. That's the point, y'all. Never for a moment did I, for my protection, I've said, it's like, to be honest with you, it's part of our world now, y'all. It's what's so difficult. I don't want to break out a camera. In fact, that's kind of what bothers me, y'all. We shouldn't have to, kind of like we shouldn't have to ask folks to wear body cameras in a way, but like, I guess we're at that point, y'all. It's like, when, again, I'm one of the people saying, like, there's nuance to that whole conversation, and the body camera has to be able to be turned off, right? But should it be a sign of immediate suspicion if somebody turns the body camera off while they're going to the bathroom? They're having a conversation with their wife on the phone. Maybe they don't want to talk about, their kids' grades. Something completely innocent, right? But still, it's like, no, I don't want my buddies to, be able to go look at this, or their buddies just going through their footage. Well, I'm not saying that, right? That's part of the nuance, though. Because a lot of you be like, well, what do they have to hide? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying, like, it's just complicated. We got to stop having such a one-dimensional, perspective about this kind of stuff. And so with this car, y'all, what I'm saying is, to be honest, I was saying from the beginning, it seems like you've like, that's what's so bizarre to me. Everybody's acting like it's just like you're the director. But am I? When you're sitting there, I can't even have a single conversation, including a confidential conversations that I need to have. Y'all, that ends up, it's like, no, you're not directing a movie here. You're fucking illegally muscling a human being. And that's the nuance. And like, as somebody, it seems like they're trying to look out for me and do the right thing. But I'm trying to do the right thing. And they're not even letting me communicate to know, like, who's really doing the right thing here. Look how much lying and abuse there is in my face. Like, I need communication. I'm on the autism spectrum, and my family didn't even know that. I know they're probably not ever going to accept that, some of them. I need communication. I'm just sitting here like, bark, bark. Like, there's danger, and you're ignoring it. Bark, bark. Like, and everybody's just like, no, you shut your fucking yap and put that muzzle back on. Like, now we're going to fucking record you until we create the consciously fraudulent image that, we all want. And I'm just like, what in the world is going? How did we end up in this place? But I'm also saying, is like, to be honest, speaking of place, there's a couple things. I know how bad my coworkers actually are and the lies they're willing to tell. And I'm sitting there, you're like, no, we don't believe anything because we all hate you. They've already lied to us, and we take their lies openly. It's like, I've lived here for years. I've been, I'm not pandering. I've been saying objectively good things about the Austin Police Department. I see people downtown that are, struggling with real, actual severe addiction to hard narcotics. And I see people that are, trying to have empathy. That's what's so frustrating to me, y'all. You had somebody on your side. And some of you just like, I'm not saying all of you, some of you just like openly hated me so much, so easily. And that really will haunt you, y'all. I'm not saying I will haunt you. I'm saying me, right? I'm saying that will haunt me, because it's like, man, I was a good man, and I am a good man. Let me put it that way. I am a good man, y'all. And really, you don't want to live in reality, because what, your buddies? Because you don't believe that they'd be willing to commit crimes and lie straight to your face about it? Well, I didn't want to be the one to tell you, don't shoot the messenger. But yes, they're willing to openly commit crimes and lie straight to your face about it. There's no question about that. That was never my personal opinion. What I'm saying about the Teslas, y'all, is that you should not focus on one or... really, I'm serious. If you want to accuse me of pandering, okay, well, Ford is going to be working on electric vehicles more and more. Ford is the ones that, they're, to my knowledge, Austin Police Department, all of your cars are Ford, right? Like, I'm saying it doesn't have to be one company. I'm a capitalist, That's one of the complicated things about Voyager, I'm actually not a shill, and, like, trying to communicate that to people, like, I really do mean it. I think Teslas are really cool, if I'm being honest, but I also think it's really cool that, there's an electric F-150 now, and is it perfect? Well, nothing is, and it's the first iteration, Speaking of iterations, like, I'm really meaning it when I say, like, we're going to have mostly, eventually, primarily electric vehicles in our society. We're always going to have the need for some longer range, and probably what I've said, in my opinion, we need to look at fossil fuels as what they are, technically, even if it doesn't seem like it because there's so much, technically a limited resource, They actually are. Technically a limited resource. So what do we do when we know, even if it's that we have so much, but in the long run, we're not trying to guilt people for still needing a gasoline car right now, or for running a lawnmower, right? Or for, any of that, right? We got to get away from the oh no, you just feel environmentalist hippie. Okay, first responders probably always going to need access to, really, I'm not kidding y'all, because think about it. Generators for hospitals potentially, which we can and will look at more electric options, and options about battery caching. That's really important for us to keep in mind. Again, y'all, I'm not a shield of Tesla, but I mean, they're looking at the bigger picture with that kind of stuff, and it's actually so relevant. Battery caches for our power grid are going to be more and more necessary. The power goes down, we want to have backup options. I'm saying that even in some of those cases, probably, in a certain capacity, fossil fuels as well is some of the, consideration, but especially first responders and military. And why is that, y'all? Well, it's not just time is always an element. It's also that, God forbid something horrible, catastrophic happens. We can't be, stuck in a spot where the grid goes down and people are trying to charge and they can't, right? And that's the thing. It's kind of a strange dichotomy, y'all. People were plugging into their Teslas during the ice storm in Texas. They're like, wow, this is actually really useful because, we can sit in here and turn the heat on and it's safe. You're not generating carbon monoxide in your garage, it's actually really important. And that's the thing, there's some TED Talks even and lectures that I'll reference on this topic where we're talking about the grid is going to be getting smarter and smarter and smarter. It's not that we're just oh, okay, upgrade the grid, done. It's it's going to be iterative, and it's such a large, big picture thing, right? It takes time for us to move in that direction, but it's kind of like IoT devices in a way. We're seeing a sea change, and with the grid and other aspects of our infrastructure, what we need to understand is that, we're using technologies not just to implement, some better hardware, but smarter solutions. And that's kind of what a lot of these folks that are really intelligent are explaining, is that, stop thinking about it like build the one tool that's great. We build, the set of tools that's more intelligent about our application, right? We use data, okay? We're not reckless with data, but we use data to help inform, the decisions that we make in that way and in that lens. And part of that equation is that, how do I put it best? Where do we decide where we would want or need battery caches, first, the most? And I think that's one thing that's relevant. But also on that topic, right? It's less necessary to have battery caches on the grid if every home has a battery cache. And I'm not trying to sell products for Tesla, I promise you. But see, that's my point, is that Tesla has to acknowledge that at the end of the day, it's capitalism. And that's what I really do enjoy is, at least I appreciate, let me put it that way, y'all, that, when they're designing technologies for electric vehicles, plenty of them, speaking of open source, right? I'd have to go pull up the list, but they're making a lot of it open source as well. They really are. And, it's that's one of the debates with Tesla. I think it's kind of front and center for some people, the right to repair. Maybe there's arguments about that. But again, I'm not even taking, a take on that at the moment, to be honest with you. I'm saying in the scheme of things, they're clearly wanting to help the bigger picture, and they really do actually mean that. And, if their capitalistic incentive, causes some things, speaking of the right to repair, that's one of the things I've been drawing attention to, y'all. For example, it's both, it's almost comparable, Tesla and Apple. There's reasons that they may not want things to be so easy for any person to just get, root level access, right? You're having a car that autonomously drives itself. It's oh yeah, I installed this thing from a, a thing. And again, let me state the nuance first and foremost, y'all. I'm not saying it would always be this way. There's plenty of, on the iPhone, it was SB settings. Okay, I can turn Wi-Fi on and off by swiping on the status bar. And that didn't exist before, you understand? That didn't exist before. Now it's in every operating system on a mobile phone, right? But I'm saying the honest to God truth is that is so important. Is that your car is a robot. Your robot car cannot be there's one piece of code that somebody they intended to do the right thing. They were just trying to adjust something, but it broke everything, and the car just drives off of something. Yeah, I'm not trying to say catastrophic whatever, y'all. I'm just in general, it's a consideration that we have to have about that kind of stuff. Is that really it actually is kind of relevant? What's the balance? You can kind of repair care of your own stuff, but like, we need you to not mess with the computer. Like, okay, you can maybe add some, widgets, but we need you to not go into the root level code, the BIOS essentially of this car, because like we've got a bunch of engineers that know what they're doing, and like we got to speak to the safety of this vehicle. We can't have you messing up, sensors or, fundamental aspects of that are just going to totally bork everything, right? And that's one of those things in this day and age, y'all. It's going to become more and more complex, and so we do actually need people to address that, if that makes sense. I'm not sure what this came from, but I'm just going to move it for the moment. So part of what I'm saying, y'all, like, to be honest, I don't know. I kind of just want to get rid of that vehicle because I mean it. It's like I really, it's been lorded over my life in a way which is, well, I'll be honest, y'all. I was trying to be appreciative of everybody trying to help me out, but that's the thing. I didn't actually need the car. In fact, in some ways, it's so terrible because the only, even perceived argument of needing the car was to go to a data center. It's like, I can do my job remotely. I really, like during this pandemic, I can literally do all my job remotely. And instead you're like, no, we won't even let you have, it's like I'm a dog. We won't even let you have place. No place for you. It's like, go place, you just go walk in your corner. It's like, I'm on the autism spectrum. I've lacked for healthcare for 10 years. I do a super ridiculously technical job. I've worked my butt off. I've been illegally underpaid. And you helped those criminals who committed a bunch of white collar crime set up a situation where you're all just like, no place for you. No, you don't even get to have a place to do your own fucking job. And then we're going to sit around and be like, oh yeah, you were doing your job and all your payments were good on everything, never late on your rent payment ever. But see, we don't give a fuck about the truth or reality. So yeah, no, fuck you. We're going to fuck up your job on purpose, covertly torturing you, hacking your machines, helping hackers hack your machines, trying to create, a false fucking narrative that you don't know what you're doing with computers. And then we're going to be like, yeah, now look at him, y'all. He can't even feed it itself. Yeah, because it's not even a fucking dog. We won't even like fucking bowl of dog food. Here you go, little fucking, puppy. Like, yeah, fuck you. Fuck you for being such a good person. Like, fuck you for telling the truth. Do you regret it yet, you little fucking honest piece of shit? Yeah, do you regret it yet for being fucking, somewhat of integrity with morals? Yeah. Do you fucking regret it? Do you fucking regret it yet, you little piece of shit? I'll be honest, y'all. I'm not scared of crawl spaces or fucking having to crawl into the attic. There's no amount of fear involved. I'm just gonna let you know, it's like legal, just to let you know. That's the thing, y'all. Never touch those fucking AT&T wires because that's not legal. That's the whole thing, y'all. I know the law. And what's fucking ridiculous is that you people are like, oh, how dare you go take pictures of equipment that we've sat here trying to lie about expunging evidence that it literally generates when we're trying to frame you for crime that we know that we committed, trying to literally frame you. Like, it's not just not funny, y'all. That's so fucking evil. So fucking evil. And look at this. I think these flowers are beautiful. And I am a masculine man, unlike some of you insecure fucking trash out there on the wrong side of this. Those, quote, pest control dudes that came up there, and they're like, they see me going out of the place, like, what fucking psychopaths, yo. Fucking psychopaths. It's so fucking evil, yo. Like, I go to the gas station, the window's not even up, and on the way back, that's the thing, I don't even want to drive my grandmother's car, y'all, but it's like, I'm going around the corner and back, I'll fucking walk now. Fucking stream walking now, every time, if I even do go. Oh, yeah, you're like, oh, no, he's out of the house, oh, yeah, put fucking cameras up, which I have every legal right to do, right? I'm not recording my grandma, I'm just, bedroom I'm in, studio, really, it's like, you fucking have broken the law with reckless abandon, and then you're just like, no, maybe we can destroy him. It's so fucking evil, y'all. So evil. Sitting there watching me make physical backups, you're like, yeah, we gotta destroy his legal testimony. Yeah, maybe just more felony crime. Chuck, you already tried to fucking murder him. You already committed yet another violent hate crime. Go pull the fucking internet connection to Comcast Xfinity of his grandma's house. Yeah, he's providing legal testimony, Chuck. We're gonna get caught. More fucking hate crimes, more fucking felony crime, maybe just a little bit more. You people are fucking addicted, that's what I'm saying. You're fucking addicted to all your surveillance tools. You're fucking addicted to your power and your greed, and that's the only way that you'd be so compromised by the Russians. You're fucking addicted. It is not humorously ironic, y'all, but it is ironic. So what was I getting to saying? I'm saying, y'all, that, okay, nobody should accuse us of, quote, fascism for things like this. Companies like Ford and Tesla should have concierges with law enforcement, and we should be designing electric vehicles that, well, serve law enforcement's needs instead of having them retrofit. Right? Because look at that. I mean, departments are like, okay, got to do it on our own. I mean, it's kind of cool in a way. Don't get me wrong, yo. It's kind of like, it's somebody looking out for the little guy type thing, right? It's like they're trying to do the right thing. They're like, well, there's benefits. And it's not just for the environment. Like I said, there are benefits to the environment. Don't get me wrong. But they're like, look at this. People got to idle a lot. A gasoline car, you got to keep the engine running. You got a lot of computers and equipment. That's the thing, I don't want to talk about all of your equipment. You got a lot of equipment in those vehicles, right? It's actually kind of cool. I'm like a military nerd, like that's the thing, it's like, wow, you can run plates, beep, boop, like just drive up behind people, like that's kind of cool in a way, y'all. Some people might consider it Orwellian a little bit, but I'm sitting here, I'm like, look, you got a good guy who's, objectively on your side, and you're just like, now fucking destroy it, hate crime after hate crime after hate crime. And I'm like, hey, I want to see Tesla, literally, I want to see literal plaids, Model S plaid. And why do I think that's well, okay, now I'm not saying that pursuits are cool, and trust me, I'm not like, that's not, but some of you, it's like there's, you got to be able to drive fast, the Ford, engines you're driving, they're usually they're custom in a way, right? I'm not saying this doesn't already exist to some extent, but I'm saying, like, when I'm seeing, police departments retrofitting Teslas, and they're going and they're buying parts, they're buying, lights they need to put on. And that's the thing. From the beginning, it's like, okay, we're working with, what if the computer screen on that Tesla could actually run a lot of your tools? Maybe you have to add another screen. Okay. Instead of retrofitting it with one, what if the manufacturer is helping you do that from the beginning? It actually saves money. That's what I'm saying, is like, wow, it's a win-win. It's not fascism. No one should accuse us of such, right? There's fascism is the government owning the means of production in a way, right? That's one way to say it. It's kind of, sort of, right, y'all? It's like the Nazis, way back when they're like, we own all companies, and it's almost like a superpower to them in that way, is it not, y'all? Because they're like, well, think about how much control they have over everything, talking about propaganda even, and that's what we saw with Nazism. They're like, you see it leak out. That's one way to put it, y'all. It leaks out into all aspects of society, and that's what we don't want. We're very anti-communism in the United States of America. Can we please, can we please, I'm not even going to say if nothing else, all right? Can we please agree on that? Like, we are not, we want to very much be anti-communism, okay? Do I need to add that to my list of notes? I guess I will. I'm anti-communism. And even then, I'm sitting here saying, well, there is a difference between, quote, democratic socialism and, quote, communism. And honestly, that propaganda comes from the real communists in the United States. They're like, no, we have Social Security and public roads and, public schools and but the democratic socialists were like, maybe healthcare should not be ridiculously fucking profitable for us and a bunch of lobbyists and, really a bunch of companies are just trying to maintain status quo because they're benefiting off of, not just, nickel and diming the American people, y'all, but nickel and diming the government. That's where it gets kind of evil if you think about it, really, because we're like, even doctors and nurses, they're affected by, it's like, wow, it's just for profits only. And that's the problem, y'all, we got to maintain. It's like, it's capitalism, people got to make money, but oh my God, doctors should not have to be like appointment to appointment to appointment to appointment, no time to spend with anybody, because what are we getting to if we do that? We allow that, y'all. It's like robotic. It's like, wow, I'll be honest, an AI almost could do your job better at this point, because you're working with only the information that you have from, what people are, providing you word of mouth. But then on top of that, you're like, okay, I gotta be real quick, and actually this is something that in a conversation, y'all, that really does seem notable to me. I'm not even gonna talk about what doctor, but, doctor said to my father one time, he was like, it's not my job to think about the cost. It's not my job. I'm a doctor. And my dad's like, well, what are you talking about? People got to pay for this stuff. It's like, what? He's right. He's completely right. It's not his job. Like, wow, talk about, to be honest with you, talk about somebody who's living by their real morals and integrity. He's got a medical degree. It's a very educated man. He's sitting there, he's like, it's technically not my job, like, really. And that's the double-edged sword, though, y'all. I mean, doctors in this day and age, how can they not consider the costs of things to some extent? Right? But really, there is no such thing as a perfect world, right? There never will be. We should approach everything with that forethought, and we're not, trying to advocate for a perfect world. We'll never have one, but that should definitely not prevent us from, advocating for, real, positive positive adjustments. I'm not even going to say change, yo, because well, you're like, oh, you just want to change things. You know, we want to keep things the same. We gotta be somewhere in between, yo. That's the point. Somewhere in between. There's a series of spectrums instead of such simple binaries. Is what I'm saying. You know, I'm actually very, very serious when I say that. We got to look at things a little bit more in, you know, kind of a nuanced perspective at the end of the day, and that's what's so challenging and difficult for me. I'm that kind of person here the whole time, and the screwed up, you know, backwards, you know, upside down. It's like, again, I'm not even, it's so strange in a way, y'all. Talk about Stranger Things. I use, you know, movies and shows as you know, films. Let me emphasize film, right? As a communication method. Well, honestly, one of the things that's cool about Stranger Things, y'all, is that they kind of made it like, it's almost like a shout out to like, you know, retro sci-fi. You know, they're kind of like using, you know, even, I know it's digital likely, you know, when they're filming, quote, but they're kind of even making it look like it's like older film, right? It's kind of like they're going retro, you know, like, and they're actually, you know, referencing a lot of, you know, pop culture and you know, sci-fi from the past. And it feels like we suddenly are like in the upside down with some of this from the beginning. I'm like, wait a minute, all of my coworkers know I'm a good guy, and they're just like psychotic fucking abuse. Like, now, you know, like literally torture the fuck out of you. And like, even people who I know are good people, and that's what it's like, wow, I wish, I'm not even mad at you, but when you're saying something to me, it tells me that I'm being, you know, fucking watched in my home. You don't realize, like, torturing the fuck out of me internally, like, because you're not even letting me communicate about this. And like, you don't know that, you know, the other companies I work for, like, I know you don't have that context. I'm not trying to be mean or condescending in any way, but like, oh my Jesus Christ, yo, it will take your breath away to witness that. And you're just like, they're trying to say that I can't even, well, provide testimony. And so here I am providing testimony publicly on multiple live streams, because what choice do I have? These people, no one's even addressing the fact that DEA has, well, I'm not saying no one at all, y'all, but I'm saying like, they're not going to stop if we do not stop them. Every moment that we let this go, like, I'm just going to be fucking found dead in a ditch, and they're gonna try to lie about that shit, of course, but it's already too late, you know, to lie about it. But then again, it's like nobody gives a fuck about me even living, apparently, because like, we're just gonna let this keep going. I'm streaming in multiple sources. I never wanted to say any of this publicly. We're just gonna let it keep going. I'm not trying to be mad, yo, but it is torture. And I'm not sitting here like, oh, I kind of think it might be torture or might. No, it is. I'm saying scientifically, I said way back, basically 2 years ago, I can assert with science, all I need is basically a computer to sit down and explain like this is, and I don't need really even just a computer. Really, I needed a secure computer, which is part of the reason why. Is like, first of all, I need a computer that actually runs, which I did not have before the Steam Deck. Okay, now I have a computer that runs, and well, if it was a secure computer, which is not because of this psychotic fucking criminal abuse, then I would be doing remote work. But see, that's what they want, is like, no, just go ahead on forward. What you worried about money? We're not gonna hack you. We're not gonna hack any company you work for just because we're trying to fucking frame you and destroy your life, and we've now committed multiple hate crimes, and we victimized innocent people trying to frame you, and so we need to cover that shit up. That's the problem, y'all. Anybody in our government that wants to try to defend these people, like, you have no argument already. In fact, over 2 years ago, you have no argument in a court of law, in a federal court of law, which is why you push it to this point, y'all. I'm streaming to multiple sources. I am making backups. In fact, that's part of what I'll be live streaming today. How many other backups do I need to make? How many different locations? Because you are not going to fucking silence my words, y'all. I've watched cloud recordings be edited. I've watched cloud recordings be falsified. I've watched cloud recordings be destroyed. I've watched local recordings be corrupted before I can even upload them to the cloud. It's like, what the fuck, y'all? How do we sit around watching this shit go on and try to even defend these people? And the fact is, like, any one of them, I guarantee you right now, they've wanted to walk up here like Chuck probably did. He was so triggered, wants to pull their gun out and just blow my fucking brains out, y'all. And you know that's not mental illness. Look how much effort they've already gone through. Look how much. Because they know, they all know that my testimony, any and all of it, well, none of it could ever even be deleted. So long as I'm alive, there's not a damn thing that they could do, even if they delete a hard drive, even if they delete a cell phone, even if they delete a recording, even if they mute me when I sit down to give hour-long testimony. For anybody that watches this later, this is exactly why I'm now, implementing a technology I was already engineering myself. It's a duct tape and bubblegum solution, but I'm streaming to multiple locations, and I'm not even going to say which all and where all. It's not about location physically only, but it's also about the fact that redundancy, that was a huge part of my job all the time. Fault tolerance, redundancy, alerting. I wrote basically since I started, actually, after a month or two, I'm applying all the skill and intellect I have to write our monitoring, literally writing scripts that are working with open source solutions that are sending me and our whole team alerts when things break. And that's the thing. You've got real black hat criminal hackers who were committing felony crimes, and then they're breaking things like that. And I'm the main person that's like, well, there's a balance between noise from, alerts that are false positives and, the real alerts. And I'm the main guy. It's always like, okay, we got to look at this all together. Nobody's helping me. So much documentation lacking. I don't want to talk about past businesses, but like, why are we fucking forcing this? No offense to anyone that's on the right side of this, but these people are going to fucking kill me, and it's not mental illness. My own family is unfortunately filled up with political lies and clinging to those, and I literally, it's like my family throws food at me a little bit because they're like, technically, you're a living human being who is our blood, but we fucking hate you. My grandmother doesn't know anything about what I mean when I say I'm broadcasting. I'm not ever recording her without her consent, and that's the thing. Obviously, if I'm like, hey, you want to sit down, and that is never some veiled thing, even, Like the shitty thing is like, my grandmother, I love her so much. She has so much cool, wow, it makes me so upset. I love hearing about the past, And that's the thing. I love, having authentic conversation, and you people are criminal fucking psychopaths. If this shit weren't going on, if you weren't spitting lies, look how many people I'm not trying to exploit on social media. It's the total opposite. I respect the matriarch of our family. Apparently, unlike a lot of our family, they won't even help her get hearing aids when she needs more help with that than she's willing to admit. And she is just very fiercely, defensive of her independence, And in a way, I'll be honest, she has, I think, enjoyed the narrative, right? Because she's like, yeah, you need my help. You can't even feed yourself, you little fucking slave boy. And obviously she's not saying the F word, but I'm saying, look at, yesterday again, she's just like, yeah, no, did you even, she doesn't know what time I wake up. She doesn't know what I'm doing. She doesn't did she even know I'm not just providing legal testimony, which, right, was just shocking to my uncle. Like, what do you mean you're providing legal testimony? That sounds bad. Trying to flip it back around. I was like, no, yes, I'm definitely providing legal testimony. You people, clearly don't understand what has happened, and never was I mad at you. I just honestly had faith. I thought you would have faith in me, and apparently I was wrong. You're just clinging to your literal mafia. I've never gone down here, even when I was younger, Of course, I knew about it existing. For real, I mean, yeah, I'm saying I'm not a expert in, architecture or, carpentry, but the honest to God truth is, I'm very conscious, and I paid very close attention anytime I was helping my father, even with, DIY work around the house. I'll be honest, I was always kind of like, why don't you teach us more? Instead of just like, I'll just go get the tool. Okay, there you go. There's the screwdriver. There's the hammer, But like really, and I mean, that's valuable skills. It's valuable even just education and background to have. There's two reasons, Reason number one, I need to make sure they didn't put some shit down there. I've never set foot down there. I need to make sure they didn't put some shit down there. And again, it's like saying it's not mental illness, same old fucking bullshit. That's what I'm saying, I need our government to actually do something, I'm aware you saved my life. Our government saved my life, but I need this. I'm not even saying some big public apology, some big public disclosure. I need the situation to be addressed, I need it to be addressed. Every moment for a lot of you, it's like, I'm being starved, You know that I'd be doing work, good work. You know that I was doing good work at Panda. Those of you on the right side of this, I'm more than happy to work in a restaurant or anywhere. Every job I take, these people are trying to use against me. Coming up and lying about change that they received. Coming up, what else did they try at Panda? That's what I'm saying. Coworkers are sitting there like, oh yeah, I vape in the bathroom. Like, well, to be honest with you, I mean, technically is, I'm not encouraging that, and I don't really, but really I'm saying like, I realize the lie that you're psychopathically, you're wanting me to be like, oh yeah, I'm vaping in the bathroom a bunch. I'm not vaping in the bathroom, I've got a fucking neurological disability. I have to go to the bathroom frequently. Look how fucking terrible this narrative. Look how fucking terrible. With Ian Huang throwing in my face, he's DEA, I'll be honest. I mean, that was a little bit intentional, especially at that time. That was a little bit intentional, It's like, yeah, to be honest with you, you people need to fucking stop. So what, you're going to turn around like, oh, I think I smelled it, vape in the bathroom. Like, then on top of that, it's like, I'm never, quote, smoking weed or whatever you're trying to fucking say. I'm going for a walk. I enjoy walking. I'm only eating lunch alone most of the time because look how fucking despicably evil. I can't even have one fucking conversation. If I have my phone with me, you record me, and I'm not saying anything weird. I'm showing you I'm a good person and a human being. I'm not manipulating. If I don't have my phone with me, then you're like, well, why don't you have your phone? Oh, why did he leave his phone at his desk? And then he walked over and he just had a meal in the lunchroom silently by himself, and everybody's like, oh yeah, he's fucking antisocial because he's being subjected to relentless, not even covert torture. That's what's so terrible, y'all. It's like, no, it's so crazy, like they were fucking lying about him. We're allowing perjury openly about him. We're ignoring conscious fucking public corruption, and that's my point, y'all. Is like, I will keep talking, and only in defense and protection, not just of myself, of course, at this point, but the innocent people you victimized, trying to frame me, and the innocent lives you continue putting at risk by doing shit like this, because you can, oh no, nobody was around, it was in the middle of the night, so probably nobody's gonna get hurt when we're trying to fucking murder you. And then I'm going to a gas station and I'm seeing, I'm not, I can't be Mr. fucking, Superman, but like, I'm seeing what is probably people that, they know exactly where I'm gonna park because you've been stalking the fuck out of me. And now suddenly my grandmother's window is broken. And what, does she think it's my fault that you people are fucking psychopaths? That's what I'm saying, y'all. Everybody in the world, you need to understand that's how this agency, the DEA, that's how they operate. They're like, they're gonna covertly just fuck everything in your existence. And they have never in their lives spent as much money or as many man hours chasing fucking rabbits, trying to actually fucking engineer fraudulent fucking narratives about a single human being as they now have with me. And I can actually stand by that assertion. So I am serious, y'all. At what point, because I will not go another 2 years, 3 years. It's been fucking 3 years of my life. These people have already illegally robbed from me. Everyone fucking within, limitations, locally especially. So many people fucking hate my guts, and they don't even know how wrong, how despicably fucking wrong it is to feel the way that they feel. How long are we gonna wait? Are we just waiting for them to fucking murder me? That's what I'm openly asking you. Anyone in the government, you have no defense of this shit. Are you ready for my words right now, what I'm saying, to be so public and permanent on the public record, and then I show up dead in a ditch and no one can even fucking lie about what really happened? Is that what we're waiting for? That's what I'm asking you right now, yo. At what point are we going to do what is right? And at the very least, okay, ask me to sign an NDA, which means a conversation. No judge is going to implement a, quote, gag order with me without having to talk about all of this. All of this. No judge is going to be able to ignore that they're a member of the family, yo. Federal judges installed by Donald Trump in Texas included. And that's why I need every federal judge in the United States of America to have access to my words, which at this very moment are going straight onto the permanent public record in multiple locations, multiple backups. These fucking people in the DEA, yo, they're being enabled to commit relentless fucking violent hate crimes. They have already victimized innocent people trying to destroy my life. So any federal judge needs to be ready to even try to reconcile that behavior if you're gonna sit around and continue being on the wrong side of this. That is not a threatening statement, y'all. Nobody can say that it is. This is communication alone. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to force anybody's hand. I'm saying that, well, you need to be able to reconcile your decisions when you sat and you have this on the public record and someone was explaining very diligently and carefully. They don't even want to talk about things like NSO group. They don't even want to talk about, surveillance apparatus. But look how it has been so consciously, illegally, and psychopathically abused upon a man who is not suffering from mental illness. And that is a damn dirty, actual lie that has been spewed by these fucking hateful people over and over again, who continue committing hate crime after hate crime after hate crime. This is about time, yo. This is about time. I have no more time for this illegal abuse. I have no more moment for this illegal abuse. I'm not trying to force anyone's hand. I'm explaining to you that I'm objectively in the right here, and there is no argument. I need us to actually address that the law has not been obeyed for a moment since this started. I'm not being threatening. I'm letting you know with peaceful diplomacy that the entire world is going to be able to listen to my words and understand that I am telling the truth. And when I said that I will make sure it is systematically asserted peacefully and legally, this is exactly what I meant, and I'm not even close to done. Let me emphasize that, y'all. In fact, all of this should have just been done an hour or two a day when I sign off from my job, when I'm choosing very consciously to do remote work, because so many people in this country don't even know that I've been subjected to relentless illegal defamation. This has been illegal modern slavery, yo. And there's not a person in the United States nor in the entire world that could ever say any differently. Any differently. So really, yo, I really have to go down here. That's what I'm saying. I really actually have to go down into the crawl space of my 92-year-old grandmother's house to make sure they didn't plant some shit or put some fucking equipment down there, because that's how these people fucking behave. They are fucking psychopaths, y'all. They're openly serving the Russian military, FSB, Vladimir Putin, and I'm not claiming that, yo. I have so much more evidence to absolutely publicly assert my claims. If anyone in the government wants to save the reputation of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, well, it would behoove you to actually obey the law and make them stop committing hate crimes. This is what I'm saying about the car, yo. You know, I wanted to believe, especially after so much illegal modern slavery was implemented and so much, well, that's what's terrible. Everybody was like, no, it's for your, quote, kids that we're lying to you about. I don't even know if I have kids, yo. And at this point, I'm serious. I will not set foot in the state of Texas without armed security. And no, that is not mental illness. I will not set foot, and no, it's not. I'm not going to be extradited. You understand? There is no legal option nor any legal route to extradite me in any way, shape, or form. I can prove that this has been relentless, illegal modern slavery. I can prove myself that there is a deeply corrupted district attorney in Austin who has been loyally serving this criminal organization, the family. I can prove that myself, y'all. And anybody that tries anything is going to have to deal with the fact that we don't even have the option to not talk about that no matter what happens. There's no like, now shut your mouth. We're trying to illegally silence you. We've committed illegal hate crime after violent illegal hate crime after violent federal felony after violent federal felony after violent federal felony. Talk about federal judges, y'all. That's why I need any federal judge in the United States to hear my words, because any federal judge in the United States needs to understand that, well, you know, for the sake of all of us and our national security, especially given there are real aspects of national security involved in this, and DEA can't deny that for a moment, well, you actually have the responsibility of dealing with any federal judge, even if they're appointed by Trump, who has sat and tried to make this sound okay or be okay when it's not okay. So really, y'all, speaking of money, you know, that's the thing. If I could keep this car, y'all, and eventually just earning my income, I don't even want anybody's money. That's what's so terrible. Just fix it up. You know, I'm like a DIY guy. You know, I find a good mechanic that I trust, I can work with. You know, really, I'm not even worried about, you know, pulling some sketchy crap necessarily. You know, I'm saying like fair pricing. You know, I know what work they're doing. You know, that's the thing. It's not really even. It's in good shape, to be honest, y'all. It's in good shape. I've maintained that car. You know, I camped in it a little bit when I had no choice, and I did not want that to be the context, and it was not mental illness. I had no fucking choice, y'all. And that's the thing, you know, I'm looking at all my options. I could have tried to come straight up here, but really I couldn't. Really I couldn't, because somebody did me, you know, someone I really care about helped me out even with the gas money. Good human being, y'all. And I saw the pain in her eyes, honestly, knowing that I'm a good human being, and look at what has happened. You know, we interacted with one another in a professional context, and I was always so polite and professional towards her, and she knows this has been about some despicable fucking politics, and we can't even talk about it, y'all. We can't even talk about it. Why is that? Well, I'm not even going to talk about why. She's a good human being, y'all. Beautiful soul. That's why I named that song, not after her. That's what I look at, y'all. I'm not even saying like I'm saying nothing about her, anyone's physical, you know, appearances on the outside. That's what I'm saying, y'all. I think about people's soul, that you're intelligent and you care and you have a heart. And she's not the only one in this that's that way, y'all. But that's the thing, you're putting a fucking muzzle right on my mouth so illegally. I'm walking in, I'm leaving phones in the car. I don't want to be recorded, but it doesn't even matter. In this context, it's so layered, yo. So, would I maybe, I'd love, to believe, that the car could just be fixed up. Maybe we could obey the law, and I will have the title solely in my name. I'll pay off every dollar and more. That's the thing. If anybody would let me just do my fucking job, I could have been earning a solid salary. To be honest with you, that's the fucked up part. Part of the reason I'm doing a portfolio. 18 plus only, trigger warning. Part of the reason I'm doing a portfolio. I want to work with adults who are, okay, you do like some HBO style podcasts almost. It's not that HBO brainwashed me or any of that kind of stuff. No, I'm just my own person. If I want to say some explicit language here and there, I have every right, every single right. Actually, let's talk about freedom of speech later, not right now, but that's kind of the thing, I've already talked about it just some. I've got so much more to say, so much more to say. I will always have so much more to say. Because that's the world that we live in, especially now, and you need to actually behave like it. You never have the option of taking snippets of statements like, oh, no, this is perfect. If we just neurotically and pathologically, fucking project upon this shit and lie about what it really meant, then yeah, this sounds perfect. Oh, he's really agitated because we've been torturing him relentlessly. Yeah, now he's actually he's 100% just a smart guy. He's not mentally ill, quote, in any way. And that's the thing, that, for example, I did forget. Oh, no, I forgot because I'm stressed out. Do we have a bunch of trash that needs to go out, When normally I would definitely like to make sure it goes out. But see, if my grandmother turns around, she's like, he forgot the trash again. You know what I'm going to turn around and say? I'm going to film more in that fridge. I'm going to film more of this house. For example, these fucking why? Why did nobody even come? This has been here for years, Years. My family is fucking terrible for this kind of stuff when they're literally sitting around trying to act like I'm some bad guy, and they know better. They all know better. They're all part of the family, just like my grandmother. So you know what, in defense of this, quite frankly, what a waste of the hardworking trash men's time to even put this out right now, because really, and that's a double-edged sword as well. Even me taking the trash out, anybody that sees me like, yeah, what are you putting in trash? Yeah, go through your fucking trash. Yeah. Look how fucking terrible, I need our government who saved my life from our government. I need us to do something, These people are going to kill me. They're going to keep trying to take any of my fucking DNA that they can. They're going to try to plant shit. It's not mental illness. You know exactly how they think. You know that I can prove that what I'm saying is true. I did a quick summary on my YouTube channel, and I even said then I'm removing a lot of not even extraneous information. I'm just putting this out there very publicly because I'm implementing this concept of push and pull. At what point is our government going to actually, be some adults? Some of you, not all of you, but some of you. At what point are you going to be adults and do the right thing here, I'm not schizophrenic. I've never suffered from psychosis, nor will I ever, to tell you the truth, There's basically no one you will find that is of more, mental fortitude than myself, especially given the way that this has actually gone in real life. This is despicable that we would allow this to actually happen right here on U.S. soil. That's what I'm saying, Part of what makes this so terrible. People like Mark getting in my car and he's like, oh yeah, you're regimented. Yeah, and what does that tell me, They're like, oh yeah, we know that there's other people kind of paying attention. Oh yeah, what? Why should the government have ever had to save my life to begin with? Because I've asked that question before, but can we please all think about that for a single moment? Why should the government have ever had to save my life? And then everybody's like, oh no, how dare you protect an innocent man who has been relentlessly victimized by one of our own federal law enforcement agencies. How dare you? And I don't speak for anyone. That's the point. acting like I'm arrogant or like I'm some, fucking culture warrior because because I'm an innocent man and my life has been relentlessly waged war upon, freely allowing perjury, going after a loan which makes no sense. No sense, y'all. I'm not even just saying. It's like, I'll pay off every dollar. At least I would have, y'all, but that loan's going to be forgiven now. I need to say that very plainly. That loan is not some unreasonable ask, y'all. It's not me being an arrogant asshole. That loan is going to be forgiven now. After all of this, after hate crime, after violent hate crime, after violent hate crime, after attempted assassinations, more than one. And how many have I not even known about? If I didn't actually pull pepper spray and a flashlight out of my DoorDash bag that night on the south side of Austin, would I even be standing here right now? Y'all, that's what I'm saying. How dare any of you on the wrong side of this try to reconcile the behavior of this one federal law enforcement agency in any way? And I'm walking around outside saying all this, y'all. Nobody can say mental illness. Oh, he goes into some mode when he's, alone. He thinks he's by himself. He thinks we're, like, that's what's so ridiculous. You're fucking Drax. Drax, like, oh, no, we're invisible. We just got Chuck coming up to you, spitting his dumb fuck politics in your face, acting like you're not culture warriors, when that's exactly what Chuck is very publicly asserting. You know that you're culture warriors, openly serving the Russians. You know that you loved having Emperor Trump in place because he was just like, anything goes, no laws, complete fucking anarchy. And now you're realizing that no, we do not have anarchy in the United States of America, y'all. No anarchy. I would like to pay my bills, y'all. I would like to pay my taxes. I would like to, well, that's the thing, y'all. Now I've got to reference all of this even to the IRS. Wow. I need you to go check out my YouTube channel and my VODs and my Spotify, and here's the first couple that you can watch. And the thing is, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm actually genuinely really sorry. To be honest with you, I'd be earning so much money right now at this very moment if these people would actually just behave. And I'm not using a bunch of electricity. I'm not adding a bunch to my grandmother's power bill. I'm literally a ghost. I'm the light. I'm not a ghost like some sketchy ghost. I'm like a specter and like a, literally these people don't even want to let me fucking be a human being, and they're actually not allowing me to be a fucking human being. Any job I take, they're just using as a weapon against me, abusing their freedom of speech. Look how fucking backwards. DEA from the beginning. Just trying to blast this shit out. Trying to be as defamatory as they possibly can. Trying to make sure if I ever even have an appointment with someone that seems like he's probably, a decent human being, the psychiatrist I spoke to, and what's he spitting in my face? Oh, yeah, are you experiencing any, like, mania? And then look at the negative feedback loop because I'm frustrated afterward, and I should be, because, oh my God, if only you knew. Oh my God, if only you actually knew, instead of everyone bigoting themselves, listening to psychopathic liars, thinking they have any semblance of a clue when they need to get a clue. So I've never been ruminating in any way during this, y'all. But see, I want to let everyone and anyone in the whole world know, if you know for a fact, you've already proven actually, irrefutably, that you're being subjected to psychological torture, illegal psychological torture, consciously, then yes, meditate and take a deep breath sometimes. And if you can, sit out on the balcony of your apartment when the air quality is terrible. If you're realizing the water is deeply polluted and the DEA is lying about that, trying to use it against you, go get you some purified water from a safe source. All right, even if you're incurring risk because you're, oh my God, they're going to try to say you're just making, quote, deliveries or shit like that when there's nothing. They see you in your home. You're not bringing anything with you but empty fucking water jugs and the caps to those empty fucking water jugs. One of my happiest memories. My cousins from Texas, who we don't normally get to spend a lot of time with, right? They're coming down and we're all going out to Rehoboth, and that's the fun part, right? It's like, you can call us privileged if you want, but we've never been that privileged, right? We kind of pulled money together. You know, my grandfather / great uncle, who I've always loved so much, who, before all this in my life was always so kind to me and so decent. Even if some of our families sometimes felt like he was just a little bit uppity, just a little bit, y'all. Maybe with waiters sometimes, or, talk about generational differences, y'all. There are some, right? Even my grandfather on this side of the family, he could be kind of a jerk to waiters sometimes, right? He was just a stubborn man. He was, he ran a car dealership, right? He's used to being an authority, talk about psychology, y'all. He was a good man, don't get me wrong, but that is psychology, Probably a little bit more abrasive with people than he should be sometimes. I'm like the, maybe it's because I've worked in the service industry, y'all. Maybe it's because I'm an empath. Maybe it's because I'm on the autism spectrum. Maybe it's because, I don't know, I'm a decent human being, and I'm not saying my grandfather is not. I believe it. It doesn't even matter. Like, I can't tip people, an amazing amount all the time or anything like that. But what I can do is be kind and polite and patient. And, it's frustrating if you receive genuinely bad service. But that's the thing. Everyone's service is, it's all relative in a way, y'all. You got to look at context. How busy is this restaurant? I'll be honest, that's the thing. It's less busy, You go to a Chili's and they're being quite psychopathically abusive towards you. You should not even lash out at them, which I did not. Just leave some feedback for the company, because the company deserves to know. It's like, look, I've been subjected to defamatory crime, and these people are sitting here being really, really abusive. I had a gift card. I'm literally essentially already homeless. They've taken away my home so illegally. I've never even been late on a rent payment. And at that point, I think I had been, okay, now I have been, because look at what our government, even though our government has saved my life, look at what our government has allowed. And the government in Texas, that's kind of the thing, I'm no anti-government person, but the government in Texas just openly waged guerrilla warfare upon a single innocent man whom they have no plausible deniability about. He is an innocent man, a good man, who quite frankly, he told the truth about a really serious set of legal issues in another state for a reason. Didn't even tell the truth about it in the same state. In another state, he had been flown out there on the company dollar, not to hang out or have a quote vacation. He was in the office from 9 to usually 7-ish every day. There's so much work to get done, and the main thing I'm communicating is not even that I want to just be located there. It's that there's too much work for me to even do, and I've got to basically, it's part of the work here. I've got people from this company in Austin. The other guy's still not doing his job. I'm in Denver. They're like, hey, he's not around. And again, I'm not even trying to say where I'm at. That's what's so fucking shitty. We push this far. I'm not even trying to say the location of a company, the state of a company, because even that information, it's like, oh no, don't say that, because, it's like then people are going to know. Well, look at what we're forcing. That's what I'm saying, Our government saved my life. From our government, I need our government to, kind of prevent me from being murdered, prevent me from having to multi-stream my testimony, They were illegally muzzling me, and I can prove that myself. They've got militarized spyware on the phone that I'm currently speaking through right now, and they've canceled this every time that they can. And I think it's starting to realize, but I don't even think so. I don't know, It's like, trust me, I understand, the Twitch app, you got to kind of you can't just stop, start, restart the app, make sure there's some time in between, probably on the, the server side, you got to wait a minute before you just hit go again, or it might just not connect. But that's the problem, when I'm walking down the street with two phones and both of them are live streaming and only one of them is getting cut off as soon as I start talking about what Lenovo and TikTok and, considerations for me having to own an American manufactured cell phone. And look at that context, y'all. I'm talking about TSMC. Who do you think makes the chip at the end of the day? Apple designs their silicon, y'all, which is quite impressive in a way, They are the largest, one of the largest, one of the wealthiest companies, but that's pretty cool to think about. They design the silicone, even if there's layers and layers in the supply chain. They're manufacturing these chips with security in mind, with all kinds of cool things that it almost makes you think so much more about the future. When I study new chip designs coming out, and I'm like, wow, there's sleeper cores. There's cores on this. They're made for low power. Really, if you want to use your phone, and you don't have to, right? Talk about data privacy, and you have every right to turn it off if you want to use your phone to track your steps, or really, it's fascinating. Why would you need your processor running at full speed when you're just walking around? In fact, you don't want that. Look, that's not just smart, that's intelligent. That's so intelligent. Every bit of that data at the same time, when NSO Group is out there paying black hat hackers more money. That's the thing. They're like, no, don't go to Apple or Google. We don't want anybody to have real privacy. Or even though that's the whole point, is like, oh, how dare people, have private conversations with their wife about their kids' grades. How dare somebody, want to turn off their body camera if they're going to take a shit. It's like, oh, no, you don't get that, even though that's, the Constitution, and we love to bang our chests about the Second Amendment, and throw guns out there to men who are psychotically criminal, like Michael Brumback, and deeply suffering from verified mental health issues, of which we have a long legal documentation. And quite frankly, how do I need to say it best, y'all? It's just like, oh my Lord, the upside down that we found ourselves in, and now I'm flipping it right side up. And yes, again, I repeat, as I recursively will, I use film and pop culture references as communication methods, y'all. I'm not mentally ill. This is real life, unfortunately. I am sitting here saying very openly to the entire U.S. government, I need someone. I appreciate that the U.S. government saved my life from the U.S. government. I need someone in the U.S. government to make sure, honestly, that, I'm allowed to actually do my work and earn money and pay my bills and live, buy my grandmother groceries, yo. Wouldn't that be some amazing, I'll even live here if you'll just allow it. Let me do my job. Jesus Christ. Talk about persecution, yo. Talk about fucking Nazis. This is like the Diary of Anne Frank in real life, and I'm not even trying to compare myself to, people that were really persecuted so violently, but I have been violently persecuted, and that's not mental illness, and that tree is not even the only example. If you don't believe me, that's the thing. First of all, I can prove it, and second of all, a government agent witnessed this act of attempted murder outside the city of San Marcos, Texas. Y'all, I do not have time for us to sit around and let this keep going. Ann Milgram herself is sitting there trying to prevent me from tweeting at her, and then I'm just tweeting at her again. I'm not harassing her. No one can say that I am, y'all. I'm very tactfully communicating, okay, I know the meme on Facebook, some people probably tried to jump on y'all, but for real, you would be saying the same thing in this context when she's publicly asserting that she's a conscious fucking psychopath defending violent criminals who have victimized innocent Americans, and now she just doesn't want anyone to know. Really, y'all? This is a real life cover-up, and I refuse, y'all. There's no option. I can't even go earn a paycheck from a restaurant without these people further fucking trying to frame me, trying to fucking abuse every social aspect of this situation. At what point do we realize that this reflects poorly upon the entire U.S. government? Even if some of y'all, for sure, a lot of you have done the right thing, I need us to actually address this, y'all. I need us to actually address this. I'm not trying to force anyone's hand. I'm not trying to be impatient, y'all, but you would be a lot more impatient than I am, considering that, I'll be honest, y'all, pretty much all of you And I would like to even believe that there could be some exceptions to the rule, but I'll be honest, I'm being completely frank with you, it's not mental illness. I'm not confident that the best of our best, some of you would not even be alive if this shit happened in real life. Look how many times, y'all, somebody just swerving their truck on the road, I have to avoid somebody, really, y'all, pulling out a semi-automatic rifle with a fucking ski mask on, which asserts what? Forethought, yo. Premeditated. That's what I'm saying. They put a mask on. That wasn't just me, some imagery. Certainly that is some real life despicable fucking imagery, y'all. But legally in a federal court of law, they put a fucking ski mask on. They even have a ski mask around. I certainly don't, y'all. I've got a sleeping mask because I have severe headaches and migraines and I've lacked for healthcare for over 10 fucking years. And even, oh my God, I've been denied health care, yo, so illegally. HIPAA laws have been broken over and over and over again. I've been filmed naked repeatedly, which for any federal judge is why I'm raising awareness about this so publicly, yo. And people can try to laugh or act like I'm mentally ill, but that's the problem, yo. Look how calmly I'm sitting in a bathtub explaining, oh yeah, they're gonna try to say I'm mentally ill, but I'm doing this because the DEA is actually, committing a bunch of heinous crime in real life, and we all know it, quite frankly, and we're just letting this go. Let it go. Yeah, no, let it go. No, oh wait, did they kill him yet? Oh no, okay, not yet. All right, keep going, y'all. Yeah, keep going. Okay, did they kill him yet? Oh no, okay. The family is sitting around acting like they saved him when they're trying to help literally fucking assassinate him and muzzle him from telling the truth. Okay, wait, did they murder him yet? Okay, no, okay, someday. Is it tomorrow? Is it the next day? They're just gonna fucking do it. Somebody's gonna bust down his door, acting like they're fucking undercover, really protection. What, quote, nobody has qualified immunity from what has happened. That's what I'm saying, yo. The cop who falsely arrested my brother and destroyed his iPhone included. No one has qualified immunity in any way from what has happened. And that's the thing, y'all, that I have to actually I hear the sound of seagulls and it's not mental illness. Some of the happiest memories of my life, hanging out at Rehoboth Beach with my family, my cousins from Texas. We're playing football, which they know I don't really play, but I'm pretty good actually. I'm kind of an athlete. I'm not Mr. Perfect Superman, but I'm not bad, honestly, especially just, doesn't even matter. I'm saying that's the level of toxicity and bitterness from this. I'll never get to have a Thanksgiving dinner again with my entire family, who even once this is all cleared up, y'all, that's what I'm saying to our entire U.S. government, even once this is cleared up, because of the lies that have been spun, the defamation we have freely allowed for so long, they'll never even, you understand, I am a forgiving person. I've been gracious and patient. They will never for a moment be able to put down their vitriol and their anger when they thought that they were right and they didn't know that they were wrong. And why was that? Because we have a federal law enforcement agency which is actually that out of control. Everyone. And I'm gonna have to go down into this crawl space and just make sure they didn't plant shit or put some more fucking equipment down here, yo. Because when I'm hearing a sound like I did last night, that's not the fucking AC unit, yo. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what that is, and I'm not saying they did put equipment down there, but that's the problem, y'all. They've used microwave equipment on me already in the city of Abilene, Texas, and I can stand by that assertion. And so, yes, this is some really deeply dark and fucking serious shit, because just like abusing Pegasus over my life and streaming that to a Discord server and trying to accuse me of being mentally ill, how much damage have they already done to my body and my brain, which they're now still trying to cover up by murdering me in real life, Yo, do you think I didn't take pictures of those men who would pull up with the trailer or the apartment above us? I'm hearing footsteps. They come in random time right before I go to bed at night, shoving up, really right above me. They're like, giant fucking heavy sounding. This is really, y'all, that's what they're putting down microwave equipment. They're pointing that shit at my fucking bed. And at the time, y'all, it's like, how the fuck do you protect yourself from this shit? I'm still doing research at the time. I'm still like, oh my God, is this something they actually fucking do? Look how they try to take advantage of that. They're openly waging war upon innocent U.S. citizens. Who in the United States wants to defend that fucking behavior, y'all? You know who uses that microwave equipment? The Russians. Why do we even know about that, y'all? I mean, the U.S. Embassy in fucking Moscow, y'all. So do I have brain damage from a severe car accident? Yes, I do, y'all. Yes, I do. But you know what made me really sad when I first started researching Havana syndrome is that some folks in the government don't even want people to talk about it. How fucking dare you, yo? You know, I'm not trying to be mean, but how fucking dare you? You know that, our own people being attacked secretly is doing brain damage, yo. It's causing symptoms of a severe brain injury. And you want them to not talk about it? And why? Why, yo? I'm not even saying that you're, compromised or in the family or on their side, but I'm saying, like, how do we reconcile that in any way? That's something that people need to know about because, well, even the public needs to know that that's real. Y'all, the technology doesn't just exist. That's the worst part. It doesn't just exist. They actually use that. And you know what it makes me think? Well, I moved into an apartment where the first thing that I'm told is the microwave is going to be replaced because the door is super fucking broken. And I'll be honest, y'all, I'm not a quote bachelor, but I'm single, okay? I need to use a microwave oven here and there, all right? And I'm like, well, surely they're gonna fucking replace this. I ask again, can you replace this shit? I ask again, and well, I don't have the money to buy some really heavy duty equipment, y'all. All that I have is some basic equipment that is still valid. I can actually, when I'm 10 to 15 yards away from that microwave and my basic equipment is set on a very low sensitivity is picking up microwave radiation from that so far away. And then you people want to accuse me of mental illness because in that apartment, I turn it on and I walk away. I don't want to fucking stand next to it because, well, that's the thing, y'all. I'm educated. And honestly, I wanted the microwave to be replaced. I'm even looking at buying a new one because it's like, wow, they're not even going to they told me they're going to replace this the day that I moved in. It's super broken. I don't even know. I don't want to know how it broke. Did it break the day that Jamal and D. Clark was forcefully fucking evicted from that apartment? Did they tackle him into the microwave and it's fucking broken? Just like they didn't even fix the door frame or clean that place before I even walked in it, y'all. The toilet had shit in it. You understand? There was still shit in the toilet of that fucking apartment. They didn't even dust. They didn't even fucking vacuum. It looked fucking disgusting. I'm saying I don't want anyone's money. I never wanted damages. And to be honest, y'all, if that was a consolation, I would sign an NDA that, well, DEA is not allowed to continue. Local law enforcement is not allowed to just deploy shit they don't understand to my private property with no actual legal justification in any way, shape, or form, abusing narratives around mental health, acting like they're doing it for anyone's safety when everyone knows, even if they want to fucking lie, participating in the shared psychotic disorder, everyone knows it is for the opposite of my safety, the absolute literal opposite of my safety. And look at that. Who would be saying that at this point, y'all? I could be clamoring about damages. I could be saying openly because, well, technically tens of millions of dollars by the law, y'all, U.S. law, tens of millions of dollars conservatively are already owed at this very moment right now, y'all. And you know what I'm saying is that if somebody gave me tens of millions of dollars and I was able to verify the actual security of this car, sure, I would fix it up and I would keep it. But to be honest with you, y'all, because of even just the narrative, right, and the fact that it is a recognizable vehicle, everybody knows, right, blue Mazda, blah, blah, except the cop apparently just blue sedan sees a last name and thinks that it's fucking thinks it's me when it's my brother, right? I do. Mazda's built some brand loyalty in me. I'll say that, yo. To talk about, good marketing. That's an old car, honestly. Most of you, they're like, well, it's all relative. It's actually an old car, 2009, I think it looks a little bit timeless. That's why, the design, in my opinion, is good. I don't even really care that much about how a car looks. I'm really, historically, have not been a car guy. I've learned a lot more about cars, but really what I'm trying to say is that when it comes down to it, even if I had money, which I want, that's the thing, I don't even want some, money dump or whatever the heck, y'all. I'm saying that even if I did, I'd buy a used vehicle. I wouldn't even buy a new car. I'd buy a used vehicle, and I'd probably be looking for a Mazda. Does it need to be the leather seats? No, not at all. I don't need a fancy speaker system, although sure, I like speakers, y'all, because I like music, and I'm an artist, so I need to say it. I've never considered myself an artist, y'all, but I am. Everyone can be an artist. Okay, there you go. I'm an artist, all right, but that's the thing. These people treat me like I'm some culture warrior, some big music guy when they fucking committed felony crime and stole the stuff that none of it was published, none of it was edited. They try to use it against me, artistic recordings and podcasts. They were clearly acting, irrefutably acting, lyrics that were not threatening to anyone in any way. They're clearly just, they're referencing science. They're encouraging of thought. Y'all, it's like, that's what's so terrible. You can't, there's no redefining, the actual meaning of my lyrics. Nobody gets to do that, all right? We live in the 21st century. We have constitutionally protected freedom of speech. For example, even if I sing, recordings in my phone that, I'm kind of just using, I'm venting a little bit. I'm not publishing music, about anybody. I'm not trying to, talk smack or whatever. But see, DEA has no fucking ask. I don't want to make music about DEA is what I'm saying. DEA has no fucking ask. The capitalization of some letters when they actually are drive-by anarchists, y'all. Drive-by anarchists. They tried to fucking murder me in cold blood, and a government agent saved my life, which I'm so appreciative of. And then I'm not frustrated with anyone involved in saving my life, but I'm sitting here saying, at what point are we going to realize they're not going to stop? They're not going to stop. They're psychopathic. They're addicted to their own fucking drugs that they're peddling. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. Chuck is committing more hate crimes, more federal felonies than when he knows he's caught. And when I'm going to tell the truth about it, y'all, more fucking federal felonies, more fucking hate crimes. They're actually not going to stop until they're actually made to stop. And so at what point do we realize that this just makes our entire country look terrible every single moment, every single millisecond that we allow this to continue, y'all? I'm not trying to force anyone's hand, but technically I'm already owed tens of millions of dollars by U.S. law, and I don't even want anyone's money. I want to earn my own. No strings. I'm not threatening anyone. No one can say that I am, y'all. I've been sitting here this whole time telling the truth, implementing peaceful diplomacy, doing legal investigation where needed, and I'm doing the journalism part now, y'all. I have every single bit of irrefutable evidence that I could ever need, and DEA is not going to delete it. When I said systematically, that's exactly what I meant. So at what point do we do what is right for our entire country? And for the innocent people who have been victimized, y'all. If that's what I need to emphasize, well, let me emphasize that's the point, y'all. It's not just about me, and it's really not even about me at all. It's actually not even about me at all. That's what's fucking despicable. Any federal judge that wants to, and I'm not trying to force your hand, I'm not trying to be threatening, I'm not threatening, that's the thing, y'all. Any federal judge that wants to attempt to reconcile the behavior of this agency, that's what you are directly attaching your name to for the rest of time. In fact, I'll be honest, y'all, in the scheme of things, it's already too late. You're choosing to throw away any career in justice, because that means that you're defending people in this agency who have victimized innocent people. The DEA have victimized innocent Americans trying to frame me. So you better be ready for their families to hear the truth, for everyone to know the truth, and to look straight at you and your name and anyone associated with you and your court and anyone else involved, Texas law enforcement, in any way, shape, or form. You better be ready for the eyes and the ears of the entire world to be looking back down at you with a big picture perspective now, understanding, oh my God. Earning my own income with no strings, y'all, I would just buy a humble used Mazda. Probably of a different color at this point, even though, yes, blue is probably my favorite color for a car. Doesn't really matter though, because I don't care. Point A to point B. That's the point, y'all. Really, it doesn't even actually matter if it's a Mazda, but see, that's the thing. Just like anybody else, I get to choose if I want. If I'd like to drive a Mazda, a cheap little humble Mazda, then I'll drive a cheap little humble Mazda. That's it, like a Miata is like, it's probably fun to drive. I don't really want a Miata, right? It's like the reason that, mid-size sedan is perfect. Well, it's utility and it's, it's also, still kind of like reasonable. Well, how do I put it best? It's like, Mazda 3s are awesome in my opinion. Probably easier to drive than that one. Definitely easier to park at times, but that's the thing. Try to call me a bad driver when I'm not. Try to act like I'm some dude running around being reckless. You're fucking broadcasting. You're allowing federal felonies to be committed, broadcasting my location. We've got psychotic fucking people who have no control over their emotions driving around on the road. And literally, y'all, that's the point. Like these people right now, same exact people, these alt-right militias that have clearly been just enabled to focus on me. You're helping them right now. Some of them apparently are in law enforcement. At what point do we do the right thing, y'all? At what point? Because it's already too late. You actually don't, no one in the government right now, y'all, you saved my life and I appreciate that, but like, they're going to fucking kill me, y'all. It's not mental illness and you know that. They're trying to fucking unplug the internet connection itself every moment you let this go on. Why can we not obey the law? Why can we not obey the law? Nobody can say that I fled Texas. That's not a claim, yo. That's a plain statement of objective fact. No one can say that I fled the state of Texas. But look how terrible that is. I'm not wanting to put our government and, well, other folks in our government, and I'm not in our government, right? That's what so is ridiculous. People, Mark is like, yeah, you're regimented. Like, what the hell? You got kids coming up to me like, oh yeah, can you buy me some Swishers? Like, no, I cannot, and I'm not that kind of person. What is wrong with you? It's like, oh, are you a fed for not buying me Swishers? Like, no, I'm not. Really, again, I repeat, what the hell is wrong with you? Of course, I'm not saying that because I'm a polite person, yo. This makes our government, this makes especially the government of the state of Texas look straight up fucking so evil, yo, because you have been straight up so evil. And I'm saying the people of Texas are so much better than that, yo. That's what I'm saying. Peaceful diplomacy. The people of Texas, if they had the full context here, they would never stand for this. Same with the people of Delaware, yo. The people of Delaware would never stand for this behavior. Not for a moment if they had the full context. All right, that's the thing. Yes, I don't have any personal connections, any mayors, any governors, but I need everyone to be able to understand at the very least. You can, try. I'm not saying any mayor, governor didn't want to hear me on Facebook, but I'm saying, it actually doesn't matter. Like, for real. My words are on the public record. Public record, public record, public record, which means that you have to answer for anything and everything that's allowed to happen. And what we've already allowed to happen is not just kind of evil. It's actually so terrible, y'all. That is a hate crime. I came out here that day, and the very first thing I see is that a saw was used to make sure that tree fell instead of where it would have fallen, where all the weight was, the physics, y'all. It would have gone down right over there. And where did it fall, y'all? There wasn't even that bad of a storm that night. It fell right on my head, where they hoped, honestly, that I would be that night. And even then, y'all, look, they see it as like a double win because, well, now they've got a line of sight over to the porch, and they know that, well, I vape nicotine, I bought some hemp cigarettes, the gas station right around the corner, which again, it's like if I even walk to, I've got a live stream, because we're all sitting around ignoring the plain and simple objective truth. We're all sitting around ignoring the plain and simple objective truth. This is not just not okay. This is not just not okay, y'all.